Hey everybody, Kate Mullen here. I'm glad that you chose to join me on this next video that I'm doing. And the reason that I'm doing these videos is because I've been having kind of an unusual life experience, and it's been filled with a lot of supernatural and non-physical and truly spiritual and amazing occurrences. And with the help of some friends that are also remarkably, well, I don't want to say also remarkably spiritual, because I'm not remarkably spiritual. I'm just a regular person that's going through this. But I thought it was pretty interesting what I was going through, and I wanted to share it with you, so maybe you could get some insight and form your own opinion as to what's real and what's not real. Okay, so today I want to talk about mindfulness. Okay, so what do I mean by mindfulness? Mindfulness means watching and listening to what you're thinking about. Because the reason that you want to be mindful is because it will tell you if you are being harassed by archonic energies, which you more than likely are, because everybody is. And also it will tell you if you're being influenced by subtle energies of previous yous, if you know what I mean by that, and I'll explain. So you want to be mindful. And what does that mean by being mindful? Being mindful means listening to your thoughts, listening to what you're thinking moment to moment to moment. And if you feel a physical change in your body, that you stop and go, what was I just thinking about? What was I just telling myself? What was I just thinking about? Once you start listening to what you're saying to yourself, what the ongoing conversation is that you're saying to yourself, you'll start finding out things about you. Okay, so like one example is that I noticed that I was always crying all the time, like a little kid, right? And I listened to this video by Brad Johnson. Brad Johnson's an amazing channeler of the Adronis energy. Look him up, Brad Johnson. I think it's called New Earth Teachings or something like that. But Brad Johnson channels Adronis. Great information. So Brad was saying about how there's many yous within the consciousness of your body, right? So I was wondering why I was crying all the time about little stuff. And one of them was I realized that I was crying like a baby, when I'd get in my car and I'd cry like a baby. And so I finally had to say, okay, little Kate inside of me, the little girl inside of me, what's going on? Why are you crying all the time? And I heard myself sort of say on the inside, I'm afraid. And I had to say, my regular me said, afraid of what? And the inner me said, I'm afraid I'm going to die. And anyway, to make a long story short, I just had to love and assure that little child within me, the little tiny Katie me, that, her father died when she was 5. And, pretty much as a 5-year-old, you think you're left to your own devices. But it was really a conversation I had with little innocent Katie me, little baby Katie me, and it really healed a lot of the problem. Similarly, I get big energy on the cops. And I know a lot of people get big energy on the cops. But I think, based on a dream that I had, I think I have past life experiences with being in the Holocaust. So that's why I believe that that's the influence that I have behind the cops, right? So once again, I had to go into my inner self, into my mind, and say, why are you feeling this fear? Why are you feeling this anxiety? And when I did, I realized that a previous me had a bad experience with the cops, and they didn't save me, they didn't serve me, and they didn't protect me, right? And I think it was that Holocaust dream or energy that I had. So anyway, I had to talk to my inner self and say, the police are here to enforce the laws, they're here to protect us and serve us, and there are some bad ones, but overall they're good people. And I had to have this conversation with myself. My point is, had I not been mindful of the body changes that were occurring because of my thoughts that were going by so fast, I would not have discovered the wound within the child in me and the wound within the previous me that had a Holocaust experience or survived the Holocaust, or may not have survived the Holocaust. So that's one reason why you want to be mindful. The other thing is you want to be mindful because I guarantee you're running dialogues that other people told you that made you feel bad, and you're continuing to run them. I guarantee you. And all you got to do is listen to what you're saying to yourself. Listen to what you're thinking about. Just in your day-to-day life. Go ahead and think what you want to think, but listen to where it's coming from. Listen to what that influence is. The other thing is, when you're feeling great despair and, grief and misery and doubt and fear and oppression and depression, it's very likely one of those archonic energies I mentioned in a previous video. If you haven't watched the video, it's called Everyday Demons and Archonic Energies. But if you're feeling that kind of doubt and that kind of sadness and despair, it's very likely an archonic energy. But you won't know unless you're mindful, unless you're listening to your thoughts and dissecting your thoughts and saying, where did that come from, or why would I say that? And then in the process of being mindful, and you start clearing out the noise of archonic energies or dead people that are attached to you, or tapes that you're running from old sources that are no longer valid. Once you clear all that out, then you can so clearly hear your angels. You can so clearly hear your higher self and those who seek to guide you. So anyway, I just wanted to put a bug in your ear to start being mindful of what you're thinking, whatever it is you're thinking. And when you ask a question of the universe, listen for the answer, because the universe is always answering us, right? So I'm not saying that I have all the answers, and I'm not saying that my life is perfect. Not by a long shot. But I am being mindful, and I am being open to the fact that if God exists and angels exist on the high end, then on the low end, archonic energies and demons exist. And if you don't think that the Luciferians and Satan exist, you're crazy, because Satanism is the fastest growing spiritual philosophy on the planet. And that's what we're fighting. We're actually fighting Satanists, Luciferians, that are trying to essentially crash the Christ within us. Man, stranger stuff on heaven and earth than you're aware of. You really got to just research it. But anyway, be mindful. Watch what comes to you in your thought. Watch what comes to you in your experience. Listen to what you're saying to yourself, and listen to what your responses are when you ask questions of the universe. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little brief video. I'm Kate Mullen. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I appreciate you being here. Thanks. Bye for now.